A state of emergency has been declared in Kazakhstan, where protests sparked by surging fuel prices have broadened into unrest over corruption and authoritarian rule. In the country's largest city of Almaty, demonstrators seized the airport and stormed government buildings. The Kazakh president Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, who has sacked his government, says there'll be a tough response to the protests. Our diplomatic correspondent Paul Adams has the latest.
Across this vast country, scenes of tension and turmoil. In Almaty, running battles lasted on into the night. The police struggling to maintain control in this Kazakhstan's biggest city. This is the fourth day of protests, what began as demonstrations over energy prices, now morphing into something more serious. They said Kazakhs wouldn't take to the streets, says Rafiq, but we've grown tired and we've had enough. Earlier, protesters stormed City Hall, security forces responding with tear gas and stun grenades. President Tokayev said terrorist gangs were trying to take over parts of the country. In an address to the nation, he threatened tough action and declared a state of emergency. He's called on neighbours, including Russia, for help. Far to the west, in the port city of Aktau, more crowds on the streets where it all began at the weekend. A sudden jump in the price of liquefied natural gas used to power cars caused fury. But the protests have now tapped into other long-standing grievances, corruption and economic hardship. Some vent their anger on the country's former leader, Nursultan Nazarbayev, who remains powerful. Old man leave, they chant. In another city, a crowd tries to pull his statue down. The US has urged the authorities to show restraint, but back in Almaty, some policemen were simply giving up. The government says 8 officers and National Guardsmen have been killed. Chaos is spreading. Paul Adams, BBC News.